I'm just here in my home with a new baby and sitting here wondering to myself, too much wondering to myself when the baby's sleeping, why are more young ladies not playing video games? I feel like I am always finding friends of my husband who are playing video games, and that's great. Love it. But where are all my ladies? Where are all my gaming ladies? They are just as much art as TV, film, paintings, physical sculptures, and renderings with a paintbrush, just as artistic. You know how we're all haunted by like TV shows? Some of you, Game of Thrones, that was never my thing. Gilmore Girls, that was my thing. I have written dissertations in my phone about why Jess is the best of Rory's boyfriends and how haunting it is that we never got to see that come to fruition. Countless podcasts, YouTube videos, content about this. We chatted about it all over pop culture. Why are we talking about video games? I have examples, but first we're going to talk about how gamers have been stereotyped as nerds and socially awkward. Do we deserve those titles? Yes, we do. We absolutely do, okay? More than just the nerds and the socially awkward need to be engaging in video games. To me, it's like the example of the niche things that become more mainstream. Sci-fi, often, historically, considered nerdy, kind of a niche interest, and then something becomes successful. Stranger Things, Star Wars, and it becomes of larger interest. But it's tragic that people think that only nerds play video games. And that's not everyone, because you're probably like, Allie, a lot of people play video games. What are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, I hear you, and I see that, but also, when I go out into my life, and I talk to my lady friends, and I'm like, hey, like, you know, what are you doing in your free time? They're not saying video games. They're not. There are some. Most of them are not. On top of that, it's not something widely discussed. There are cultural norms and things we are more comfortable telling others we do on our free time. Video games need to be something that we just openly discuss. Games are highly successful, so clearly a lot of people are playing them. Big games like The Witcher 3. I'm sure you've heard of it. People can't stop talking about it. It is a great game. It continues to be a great game. It is my screensaver on one of my computers. Not trying to flex that I have multiple computers for different purposes, but I do. And one of them is a gaming computer. Okay, so I'm going to give you two contrasting examples. If you're like candelabras and gold picture frames, right there, you're sitting there and you're playing like a Harry Potter, Hogwarts ambiance in the background, which you may or may not have known that a lot of those come from the video game Hogwarts Legacy. If you're a Dark Academia lady or guy, because you're welcome here too, I have a presentation for you. A Plague Tale, it's a series, 2 games, Plague Tale Innocence and A Plague Tale Requiem. It is a Dark Academia haven. It's a haven. It reimagines the plagues of history in this magical realism way. And the rats that are involved in the plague have a magical property. And there's this whole lore around, so this is a tiny spoiler. I'm trying to give you a taste. Every couple 100 years, 1,000 years, the plague comes and it's a magical thing that it reveals itself in a family member of this particular bloodline. There are rats everywhere. When I say rats everywhere, I mean like everywhere. The themes are tragic and dark and friendship and loss and grief. And it's like, ooh, if you're familiar with the Enneagram, if you're an Enneagram 4, this game was made by many of you, I'm sure. I'm telling you, it's your vibe if you are a Dark Academia person. And I cannot stress that enough. Okay, so we're doing like other end of the spectrum. Dark Academia is over here, and Cyberpunk is over here. Great example. If you're vibing with Brat, you were part of Brat Girl Summer. That's the kind of summer you had. May I present to you Cyberpunk 2077. It's a game that is so vibey, over the top, techie, techno, super hyper futuristic world. It also explores these ideas of like, what if corporations ruled the world and the key to excellent medical care, or even medical care at all, was money? You're probably not familiar with that at all. With the risk of sounding over the top and dramatic, video games are pure art, okay? You can put yourself in the virtual art. And I ask you again, if you're not playing them, why are you not playing them? I present to you that you need to try them. And if I haven't convinced you yet, I'm gonna come back to this channel and with my free time, I'm gonna try to convince you. Hopefully, I gave you a little taste of why you should consider them as part of your self-care, part of your enjoyment. Because I don't know what I would do without them. Thank you for coming to my video game TED Talk. I hope that by the end of your interaction with this channel, with some of my videos, you'll get this pillow. My goal is to welcome you into the world of gaming. It's accessible. It's not just for the nerds. Am I helping the stereotypes around video games by making this video? No, because it should be already horribly apparent to you that I am very nerdy and I have nerdy interests, but I want to welcome you into the space. I'll reveal to you this game. If you don't already know this game, I'll reveal to you in a future video. So that's a little breadcrumb. It's a little breadcrumb for you to come back. Thank you. Okay.